Linsker, and Collective Agency is the organization. I do community organizing. I'm a community organizer at a workplace, and at Collective Agency I'm a coordinating council member along with Summer Abbott, who also runs Whiffy's Pie Carts with her brother and does Young Women Social Entrepreneurs, and also Fitz Ryland, who made the visual art hanging there, and he does web design, and I'm the main person here day to day. There's been a lot of hurdles. The way this all started was by there was a place, and there were literally thousands of people in Portland who had come here at one time or another, or heard about it, or wanted something. They wanted something of it. They wanted more events here. They wanted to be able to come in various ways, to have more meetings, whatever it was. So this all started by meeting with Summer and Fitz and talking about having more visual art back in the place and more people here. And that was the first hurdle, just starting. And then it's been growing real fast lately, so just delegating ownership. I think of ownership in a responsible way as being fully responsible for something. So you can't just say, I own this, and then walk away. I mean, you need to be there enough to monitor what's happening. If you change something, you should be aware of the side effects. You should be the backup person. It's never going to be 100.0%. I learned that from my software company. Something always goes wrong, so we have backups for almost everything here. Wi-Fi, if something happens to me, if whatever. Yeah, a lot of hurdles, and they're fun. Keeping it fun is a good way to keep going. There's all kinds of things I'm always learning, and I think that there's a woman, Brene Brown, she talks about wholeheartedness and vulnerability. And for me personally, that's been really interesting to think about. This place, Collective Agency, it'll never be perfect. Some people come in saying it should be a certain way. And I think the main thing here is that it's a place, there are broad coordinating guidelines. We have a constitution. There's terms of service, community guidelines. The way the desks are set up sort of evolved gradually, and people made comments, and so there's guidelines, but then within that, there's a lot that people can do. People can contract with each other for work. People can start work groups. Self-organizing teams is, I guess, the short way of saying that. And I like to think of it as a democratic company with representatives. So there's groups of people, lots of different groups, and they elect representatives, or people start, usually it starts out with people saying, I will represent this group. And then over time, we're going to have elections in about a year. So I'm excited for that. So last week, there was a money meeting, and we've had coordinating meetings, and the idea was initially that some people would be paid members and put money in, and other people would be here for free, and that's a commitment. But it's turned out that people here for free are contributing just as much as people here who are paid members. So that was one thing where I wished, in retrospect, we hadn't had a separate paid meeting. I mean, meetings have topics, but that was one thing. And also, I've learned always have someone chair the meeting, have someone take notes, and then if I'm doing a lot of facts and vision, I shouldn't do either of those things. That's something in the last week I learned. There's a group called PDX-11, which Skip Newberry, Tamsin Galloway, Brian Jacobson, and a lot of other people. Reed Beals has led the actual coding. There's a mentor network, and I went to some meetings. I heard it was interesting. This was months ago. And this idea of mentoring and skill sharing, which are the same thing, but different people use different words for the same thing. That expectation has been really great, and there's been a lot of mentoring and skill sharing happening here, a lot of interactions constantly. And then, come on up, we're in the back. And that's fun. Yeah, that's fun. Let's see. Yeah, and then there's been OS Bridge. started talking about what is this, how do you describe it, and Catherine Poole and many other people gave advice, and all kinds of groups that are inspiring. There's Research Club, there's a ton of other groups. Being in Old Town, there's Backspace to go to for coffee and that walk in the morning or at lunch to the food carts. That's, for me, that's the most important thing in terms of balance in life. And yeah, in terms of resources, I think just being part of a city is huge. With abysses, I went on a hike out by the coast, and there was some. Hey Dunbar, doing an interview. Went on a hike, and there was a friend who said, "Oh, let's shout into the abyss." So we shouted real loud. It was like 4 of us, some friends, and then we walked on, and there were some people, and they're like. And I was joking, I said, "Did you hear us?" And I thought they'd say no, because we were shouting into the abyss, right? But they said, "Yeah, we heard you." And we walked on, I asked someone else, "Did you hear us?" And they're like, "Yeah, we heard you." So I think people hear people shouting into the abyss. So I think I think this is a place where people can come to connect, a hub in that way. In terms of what's next, I think this has the potential for people who are here, each facing their own abyss, to meet other people. I think job referrals, job creation, people getting hired for things, I think that could be really huge. That's already happening. I think that could be huge. And so how to talk about that is something that I'm exploring. What people expect. That's one abyss, in a good way. Another thing is people come here and sometimes whisper. So I do a few things. I just say, "Hey, normal conversations, make phone calls, talk." There's someone else talking on the phone right now, I think. That's good. People inspire other people to be relaxed and do stuff. So. What inspires me, the reason I get up each morning is because I wrote it out a month ago. Jeez. I've heard that called personal mythology. I want, and I don't remember what I wrote, but I want people to self-organize their work, to do things they're passionate about and committed to, and for the idea of what a company is to be the way we think of a city. There's a lot of people working in companies. There are thousands or even 1 million people, the same as any other government system. So people come here, there's some people making decisions. Each person, each group has areas of autonomy. There's a lot of stuff that I cannot do, that I'm not authorized to do. I need to go to one person or several people to get authority for that. And it's the same for everyone else here. There's a lot that can be done. People can start things, people can be paid directly. And that's happening in a lot of places around the world now. And that's really motivating for me, and I guess it comes down to just the idea of self-organizing teams, loosely coordinated. Early on I learned that asking for advice is really important. So asking people what they want, looking at what people really want or what people really dislike. And then also when someone wants to do something about what they want. So if someone wants there to be, someone suggested have video production here, and I said, "Okay, would you want to do that?" And they said no. And I said, "Okay, then maybe someone else will." I'm not going to do it. So setting limits is part of that for me. I like 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. I used to work 24/7 more or less. I really like limits. I've learned that. So then someone else needs to step up and say, "Yeah, I want to move that table." Okay, done. You did it. Or, "Yeah, I want there to be an adopt a plant table." Okay, done. The idea of servant leadership. So, okay, what can I type up? What can I tell people, if anything? Or you can do it yourself. So the idea of self-organizing teams, I think and being the idea of community organizing in a company or in a place. This isn't, and also this isn't a nonprofit or for-profit or entity, collective agency. It's a group, it's a location. It can't hold any assets. It can't do anything. It's not a thing. And it's interesting, there's a lot of corporations and entities set up where the idea is that sort of a shield of indemnity. I think that's part of it. But I think just buy some insurance and don't do something that could really screw people over. And with a lease, if you can't commit cash personally, which it comes down to with most leases anyway, to a 5-year lease or whatever it is, then you put a cap on liability. You say for 3 months we'll have limited liability, cap on liability, done. So agreeing to things that one can agree to. The idea of owning one's commitments, I guess personally that's important to me. And here, if you want something, okay, will you do it? Okay, how does that coordinate with other people? Okay, you've done it. It's a thing now. Done. I mean, that's the secret sauce, I guess. A lot of people inspire me. People doing things when they're really into them inspire me. In places that are amazing, run by people. For people specifically, the people I'm working with, Summer Abbott came up with the phrase, "come and work here," which I'll say sometimes, and it's on the website. Fitz inspires me a lot by reminding me of the community mission, and Catherine Poole, the same. And people here day to day will volunteer on things or will do things, whether it's emptying the dishwasher or and I don't even know who does that. People have started doing that, or buying coffee, or referring people, or writing about it in an amazing way. And then just around the city, I really do like what the mayor's office is doing in the sense of outreach and stronger neighborhoods and sort of inspiring and saying, hey, we can get together. The PDX-11, people involved with that inspire me a lot. And people organizing anything where other people can lead it and own their parts of it. So Reed Beals, Christy Kaler, and Audrey Eschright inspire me a lot. They're also work group organizers here. And a ton of people inspire me, yeah.